I think we're ready to start. So welcome to the one and only orchestra concert for the Virginia Junior High Orchestra. I am Sheila Wilcox. I'm so happy that you've made it and that you're viewing at home or that you're here in person. It means a lot to us to have an audience to play to when we've been playing to the four walls of my classroom since the end of January. So this has been quite a journey, as you can imagine, with all of our starting out in hybrid and then going to in-person. We've had a lot of quarantines, including just recently, and so it makes rehearsing a challenge, as you can imagine. But these kids have been really resilient, and so I'm so happy that we can do this. We're happy to have Mrs. Barb Aldrika here on piano. And we're happy to have members of the broadcast team. And I probably don't know all the right names to say, but students under the watchful eye of Mr. Bill Bryson, so we're thankful to them for coming tonight. So without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. And just a couple words about this first piece. So oftentimes for orchestra concerts, many folks will do their pieces in kind of a chronological order, starting with like your really old music, and then going up to your more modern. So that's kind of what we're gearing our performance towards this evening. So think about the court years ago, kings, queens, you know, that whole thing, medieval, and this is what our courtly dance and procession is all about. We hope that you enjoy it. So that was our courtly dance and procession, and the name of the composer was Brian Belmages. Next, we are actually going into the real Renaissance period with this piece by Farnaby, and it's called Nobody's Jig. And if you look at the spelling, it's the very old English spelling. So this is from a larger collection of works from Shakespeare's England, was the title of this collection, and this was the third dance in the collection, and we really hope that you enjoy it. We have a few soloists that are going to be playing at the beginning and the end of the piece. We have Adrian on cello and Delia on violin. We even have Darren on the viola in the back. So let's hope that that all goes well. We're awfully nervous about this one, but I think it's going to go great. What else did they have during our medieval times but dragons? So, of course, if there's dragons, you need somebody to go slay them, right? So our next piece has captured our imaginations, and we've had quite a few adventures learning this piece called Dragon Hunter. You might hear in the middle when we go to pizzicato, which is the plucking part. You might want to imagine somebody sneaking up on the dragon and they get a little too loud and then they gotta get soft again. So we've really enjoyed putting this together. and we hope you enjoy it as well. Dragon Hunter, and the composer is Richard Meyer. Orchestras across the world are commemorating the 250th birthday of Ludwig van Beethoven. And so this is our way to honor such an orchestral giant as Beethoven. And he wrote a lot of other things besides orchestral music, but so much of it is so well known. This particular ode to joy was taken from his 9th and final symphony. He was completely deaf when he wrote this, which is just mind-boggling how you can be deaf and be a composer. And the audience was clapping so loudly, and he didn't know because he couldn't hear. Someone had to turn him around to see people clapping for his 9th symphony. Brian Belmages has entitled this A Beethoven Lullaby, and it's a song, which is what air means, song, on Ode to Joy, and it's kind of his take on it, and we're going to kind of slow things down after we've slain those dragons, and we're going to take a few deep breaths, and we hope that you enjoy our Beethoven Lullaby. And so we meet after school on Thursdays. Some of the year we had to meet on Zoom. We normally have quite an active performance schedule, but because of COVID, we haven't. We usually go into nursing homes and all kinds of other, assisted living type facilities or senior care facilities, as well as other fundraisers and dinners throughout the Quad Cities area. And so we haven't been able to do that. So we are going to perform for you the Cripple Creek, American Folk Tune, and the Tennessee Waltz. So quite a few of our members are 7th graders. So why don't we have the 7th graders, well, some of them are already off stage, but they can raise their hands so that we know which ones are 7th graders. Nice and high. Wyatt, higher. Okay, yeah, he knows he's a 7th grader. And so we have 4 8th graders. And it's not really fair that the 8th graders always have to play 7th grade music. So for a little additional challenge, and they didn't need any prodding, they decided they were going to form their little own string quartet. And so we have a couple of pieces that they're going to perform. Well, first of all, just Delia and Malena are going to do Simple Gifts by Joseph Brackett. It's a piece made very, very famous by Aaron Copland in his ballet. And then the whole group by Haydn is going to play the German dance. Can I tell my favorite music joke? How come Beethoven couldn't find his teacher? Because he was hiding. All right, well, that's okay, grown. All right, so here we go, girls. So usually we would have solos and ensembles on a separate recital, but we thought, why not? We want to make our program just a little bit longer. Normally, students this age would play 3 pieces at the 4 at the most on a given orchestra concert. That would include the little ones and then this group and then of course the high school ones. But because of COVID, we've decided to have these 3 programs on 3 separate nights. The senior high program will be a week from tonight on the 17th of May at 7 p.m. And the elementary, 6th grade, will be on the 20th, so which is a Thursday, also at 7 o'clock. And so those are, again, concerts that are open to the public, but it will be a small gathering like this one is, and then also live streamed. You know, we hope if all of the stars and moon align properly. So we're getting into the last little portion of our program with a few lighter selections, including this Fiddles at Shady Gulch by Mark Williams. So this summer, there will be some form of summer lessons going on. I don't know for sure all of the details, still working that out with community ed. So stay tuned for something to be in person, and maybe there'll be an online option as well. Last year, summer lessons were entirely online, and it was quite convenient, but I really miss seeing the kids in person. And I've had all my shots, so you know, we can be fairly safe here. So hopefully that something like that will work out for your children. All right, next up is Secret Agent 440 by Carrie Lane Grizel. So it has a few hints of James Bond in here, and the number 440 is the pitch that we tune our A strings to, and our piano was just tuned today, thank you very much, Roy Berg, for coming over from Hibbing. I hadn't realized it hadn't been tuned in over a year, and I thought, oh, I better get that tuned, so we did. And yes, you can thank me. All right, so here we go with The Secret Agent, 440. Well, we're coming to our last piece here, and I'll tell you what, this hasn't been easy. Playing a string instrument's hard enough, and my glasses are all fogged up, so that's the reason why I can't see any of you. And when you're trying to hold a string instrument under your chin and you got a mask on, it always feels like it's going to slip because it's slippery. And not only that, if your mask sticks out too far, you can't see your strings. We've had all kinds of challenges, and we've overcome them. And we're so happy that these kids are so resilient, and they were so happy to hear that they were going to have a concert. It was the first question that I had to answer the first day of the semester. Are we going to have a concert this year? Like I had a crystal ball, and I didn't know. So I said maybe. And so here we are. We prepared, and we had, like I said, many weeks of hybrid, and we're, of course, accommodating our students that are at home online and doing a lot of things through an app that we have that goes along with our book. And so that's been very helpful during COVID to keep everybody engaged, both at home and here at school. Our next big project will be getting ready for graduation. Some of the kids here will probably be playing for graduation, and it's in Evelyn. The orchestra's playing in Evelyn this year. But not all of them will be playing for graduation because we have, of course, space constraints. So if you're wondering what we're going to do the rest of the year, don't worry. We're going to keep them busy. But thank you for those of you that I see already had donated to our cause, our end of the year party, and anything extra will go to our orchestra boosters group for next year's field trips and things. So thank you for that. and the donation bucket is on the main floor right outside the main doors. So thank you again for coming. We are going to leave you with our favorite piece, String Explosion by Frank M. Rogers. That concludes our concert. We're going to just do one more thing here. We're going to get the lights up, and then we're going to pose for a pretty picture for any parents that would like to stick around for the next 2 minutes. You might want to get yourself in a place where you can get everybody in. And I don't usually have time for this kind of thing at another busy concert, so we're just going to go ahead and kind of get ourselves pretty looking and turn on some of the house lights. Okay, so boys and girls are going to put your stands down as far as they go. And we kind of all know how to sit in rest position, don't they look lovely? And I think I'll stand back here. All right, so we're just going to do this quickly, so get ready to flash, and we're going to take our masks off for just 30 seconds.